You're welcome back to News Review on TV as Sapientia. Of course, it's a bittersweet one, but I think it's more of sweet. March 7th to 2024, bandits, terrorists, criminals, we call them so many names in Nigeria, but I like to call them what they really are. Terrorists moved into Chikun local government and abducted 287, as the news reported, pupils, students, and teachers of the LEA and government secondary school in Kuriga, Chikun local government. Okay. Marched our children and their teachers into the forest and did demand for 1 billion naira payment of ransom, and gave a March 27th deadline for this money to be paid. Well, so many things happened after then. The vice president came to Kaduna. The governor of Kaduna State rose up. There was so much talk, right? We saw the parents of these children. There was a kind of meeting that interfaced the government and promising them safe return and all. Controversial Sheikh Ahmad Gumi, the Kaduna-based Islamic cleric, also came out to demand that the government negotiate with these terrorists. Parents cried out, Nigerians complained, and all of that, right? The president insisted there would be no payment of ransom. All that is in the past. So yesterday, 16 days after these children were in captivity, it gladdens our hearts that the defense headquarters came up with this information that the Nigerian military, working in conjunction with local authorities and some government agencies, I don't know what government agencies, I've been trying to think which government agencies, but that is the report from the defense headquarters, and they know better than us, that this is some kind of coordinated search and rescue mission that was carried out. And luckily, they said they rescued 137 of these children. They were found in Zamfara, right? They were found in Zamfara, and they've been returned, but not to their parents. They said they're still in Sokoto. Yeah. I don't know if this morning, because as at yesterday, I made some calls to Kaduna, and they had not returned to Kaduna. Okay. So maybe today they will be returned to Kaduna. I don't know when, but confirmation they are safe. So there are two questions, very quick questions Nigerians will ask, and some Nigerians are definitely started asking. The first one is, how come 137? What is happening to the remaining 150? Because there was no talk about that. Yeah. Honestly, I don't have the answers, and I don't want to speculate. But I do know that my governor, the governor of Kaduna State, had before yesterday's incident, sometime I heard him say 137. And we are trying to understand, where is this discrepancy? So I don't know. Now they have said 137. So they need to be clear. Was there a misinformation in the first place? That will be answered by the relevant authorities. Also, when these children are released, we expect the media in northern Nigeria to do some kind of follow-ups, go to parents. Are these all? That is when we can say for sure. For now, whatever anybody says, it still will be speculations. The second one on the lip of some Nigerians, and they've started saying, and I know they will continue asking, is was ransom paid? Where did you find them? Did the terrorists abandon them? Did you negotiate with these terrorists but not pay money? Is there some kind of truce? All of these questions will... but while I don't know the answers to all of these questions, I just want to thank the Nigerian troops and say kudos to our Nigerian troops. This is what we expect. Having said that, the second information coming from the papers today is that the federal government has declared its, do I call that interest? But then when the government says something, and that is how government is run, when the government says something, it is policy. That is it. If the government says something, it is policy. So that decision to train some newly recruited NSCDC officials. There is this initiative by the NSCDC, the Safe School Initiative. Yes. So they're going to train them, deploy them in 36 states plus Abuja to safeguard our schools. Yeah.
And that one is a good one. You know, we are told that the federal government has concluded plans to train the newly recruited personnel of the Nigeria.
I disagree with that idea.
security.
You have your time.
Yes.
I love the fact that we share different opinions because I want to learn.
Okay.
I think it is quite laughable.
Okay.
And I think this government should get serious about security. When it comes to, look, for instance, when the president wants to set up a CBN board, there is a law he follows. The constitution says, okay, you're going to have 6 members of board, and they're going to come from 6 to blah, 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 right? So when we want to hold elections, there is a law that also says, okay, we're going to have 3 senators from each senatorial zone, this is blah, 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 and all the things there. When everything we do in the civil space, you want to set up a company, you have to get your COO, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to register here, you have to show this proof, you have to go to CAC. This is how it's run. We cannot afford, in dealing with security, not to follow international norms. Proven laws that work. Formulas that work. Listen to the historians, listen to the army professionals, listen to military analysts, listen to top voices from the military, listen to commanders who have led troops to the field, bled and died. We can't ignore that and continue to just do whatever we want to do because they sound nice. If we recall Mr. President, when he was campaigning to be president, there was this famous statement by him that trended, and there were different kind of skits. When he talked about recruit 50 million youths into the military, what do they eat? Cassava, agbado, ewa in the morning, He made a promise to recruit 50 million soldiers. You know, boost the strength of our military by extra 50 million. We are waiting for him to do 5,000. All right? Now, internationally, when it comes to the ratio of your military to your civilian population, the minimum recommended for your troops to be is 20 to 1,000.
Okay.
To have an effective military, your boots on ground, right, is 20 to 1,000. Now, if you look at nations like Israel, Israel does as high as 25 to 1,000. If you look at countries like Egypt, Egypt does 11 to 1,000.
Okay.
If you look at a country like Rwanda, Rwanda does 6 to 1,000.
Okay.
Now, these other 2 I mentioned are low. And why I mentioned these other 2 is because some people will listen to me and then say, why are you comparing Nigeria to Israel? All right?
Yeah.
We are, that is who we are. So I've mentioned 2 African countries. Egypt, I use Egypt specifically because our president now and our federal government, when Ukraine donated grain to us, they reminded us that Egypt also collects grain. So Egypt has 11 to 1,000.
Okay.
Rwanda, another African country, has 6 to 1,000. Nigeria has 1 to 11,000.
That's quite low. That's quite.
Nigeria has 1 to 11,000. So, you know, our military, our politicians, when you insult them on social media, they like to say it is unacceptable. Look, it is unacceptable that you have 1 to 11,000. Keep that. Now, if you have a problem of insurgency, if you have a problem with insurgency and you want to deal with it militarily, which is how you deal with it, there is a sample that works all over the world. The minimum is about 1 to 10. You know, some people say 1 to 5. Insurgents per insurgent. So you are going to overwhelm them, not only with tactics, with everything you have, but with sheer numbers. Because insurgency, you must, first of all, insurgency is not something that is managed. You must crush it.
Yeah.
You must crush it and then gain ground, right? Now look at Israel. After the unfortunate attack on Israel by Hamas, the invasion of Israel, the recent one, I think it was it, forgotten the date now. I think November 7th, I've forgotten the date, right? When Hamas hit Israel, and Israel wanted to respond. What did Israel do? Israel has a steady, regular armed forces of 150,000. That is, the regular troops. But then Israel called for their reservists, 360,000, mass mobilization, 360,000. Now, when you put these numbers together, you're looking at 500,000. To do what? To move into Gaza. First, what did they do? They ensured that they encircled, those communities around southern Israel where these Hamas fighters were known to have been embedded, and ensure they flush them out. And then they mobilize around their borders a military strength of about 500,000 to move in. What is the population of Israel? Say 9.4 million. Say 9.4 million, about 9.4 million. And they are mobilizing a military strength of 500,000 because what you are fighting is insurgency, right? Then look at the people they are fighting. Hamas, known staff strength is about 30 to 40,000. Whatever source you want to look at, it's going to tell you it's between 30,000 to 40,000 there. 30,000. The naira will rise. The naira will rise. 30 to 40,000. Okay. Now, to crush 30 to 40,000, Palestine has a population of about 5 million. To crush, because that was their stated goal, to crush about 40,000, you are amassing a number of 500,000. Now, this is a steady military. It didn't start today. It didn't start yesterday. It didn't start last decade. It didn't start 3 decades ago. This has been throughout, for a very long time. The history of modern military, right? Especially armies. This has always been the strategy. What is the strength of the Nigerian military? For a population of 220 million. They tell us it's about 223,000. I say it is lower. But that is the official. What is the staff strength of the Nigerian police? They tell us 371,000. I say it is lower. Why do I say it is lower? We are not accounting adequately for those who are dying in battle. We are not accounting adequately for those who are retiring every year. We are not accounting appropriately for those who are deserting. All right? Now, what is the strength of the insurgents we are fighting? I leave that to anybody's imagination. But if we are going to hear the only person who keeps talking about this thing, Shegumi, I think the last time I heard him, it was on a media chat. I think he said something to the neighborhood of 100,000. I think so. But I don't have these figures, and I don't want to go into what I don't have these figures. But the point is just where. Now, you are thinking of getting NSCDC. What happened to the police? When you are fighting insurgency all over the world, Nigeria is not the only country dealing with this. What do? You deploy the best of everything you have. The best of all of your strengths as a nation. Intelligence, military, economic, psychological, media, propaganda. You deploy the best of everything you have. And you do that on a scale, intended to overwhelm your enemy. As it is today, when it comes to the media propaganda, you hear more of what the insurgents are doing than what the Nigerian military is doing. That is unacceptable for a country of 220 million, a country whose government has such enormous financial strength that they are winning the propaganda war is totally unacceptable. That we do not have intelligence. Where is the... Look, the Nigerian military is doing the job of the police. The Nigerian military is doing the job of the DSS, of the SSS in all of this insurgency war. You can't win this war with that way. It is not deploying NSCDC that is the problem. It is where is your intelligence? Where is your intelligence in all of this? The Nigerian government has not deployed intelligence that is needed. You overwhelm them with technology. Nigerian government has not done that. We keep allowing our troops to die and die for nothing. Now, look at in 1945 when Germany surrendered. On German soil, you had approximately 1.6 million US soldiers.
Okay.
What was the idea? 1 to 40, when you want to invade and ensure that you must occupy. You must occupy. So I'm looking at territories like Borno State, for instance. Sokoto, for instance. Katsina, for instance. Zamfara, Kaduna, especially southern Kaduna, for instance. Niger State, Plateau, Benue. You don't fight this in piecemeal. For every state in Nigeria that has this enormous problem, Abuja too has that problem today, that has this enormous problem of terrorists having the capacity to kidnap. Do you know what it means to kidnap children in Kaduna and take them all through the forest? Yeah. It means, the military to occupy, you must send in, look at the population of the place, look at the population of the people you are fighting, and overwhelm them, dominate. Look at Kosovo in 1999 when NATO troops moved in. They same proven tactics, 1 to 40. So Kosovo had population approximately 2 million. NATO deployed a troop of 500,000.
Wow.
Is it 50,000? Because that is the ratio, 1 to 40, 50,000.
Okay.
Did they achieve it did they achieve the aim in Germany? Yes, they did. Did they achieve the aim in Kosovo? Yes, they did. Now look at the one that the US failed, Iraq. Because when people want to talk about military and how military, including Nigerians, say, look at America with all of its military might, it failed in Iraq. These things, it's a lie. That's something born out of ignorance or mischief. In Iraq, what happened was, when that war was about to start, George Bush was warned. Was it George Bush that sent troops to Iraq? Or was it our friend Barack Obama? It was George Bush. It was George Bush Jr., right?
Yeah.
When he was deploying, historians, military analysts, all the bright minds in the military advised that sending 160,000 to Iraq, or some of them call it Iraq. I don't know why.
Iraq.
Yeah, we'll call it Iraq. Sending 160,000 because that was the staff strength they were sending. And then they also talked about 20,000 civilian, I don't know, civilian contractors. That when you put all of this together, that the ratio of the U.S. presence in Iraq versus the population was about 1 to 140. And they said this will not work. They said it. And people made arguments that no, this is not the 1940s. This is not the 1950s. This is, modern warfare where we are going to use more of technology, that the U.S. Army, the U.S. had more aerial advantage, the U.S. Air Force and all of that, and that what one soldier can do and what one plane can do is equal to what it counted. They kept insisting. The administration then did not listen to professional advice that said, look, this will not work. Fast forward it to 2024. Did it work? It did not work. These are proven strategies. When you go back to the Bible, even the Bible said it, that what sort of general will go to war first without first sitting down? Look, without first sitting down to do the math. How many are they? How many am I coming with to defeat? So this is it. We keep doing blind things. And the idea, that is why I think that it is pathetic we are talking about this. Because if we read in the papers today that in Yobe State, bandits sacked the military men. It is still the same thing. It is not how many men you put there. Look at what happened in Delta State. 17 of them, right? What failed there? It is intelligent. It is not the guns you came with. It is not the training you have. It is, I'm moving into this community. What exists in this community? It is intelligence. That's if we had intelligence, you would have flushed them out before they even knew you were watching them. So this is what I think. The government should spare us all of this political correct and go back to what President Tinubu promised us when he was campaigning. Recruit, recruit, recruit. 50 million youths. We are waiting for that campaign promise to be kept. This is what I think about insecurity.
Well, I think